Hi, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Today I want to talk a little bit about the narcissistic mind control, the mind manipulation, mind sweeping, whatever you want to call it. Now, I hear people making references to MK Ultra, which to the best of my knowledge was an experiment, I believe, done by the CIA in the 1960s, which involved a bunch of hippies and some LSD. This is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about something altogether different. Now, we have to ask ourselves as victims, how the fuck did we get our minds washed? I mean, how did that happen? How did this all-consuming control come over us in such vast sort of way? I mean, it's affected our relationships, our families, our careers, our finances, everything. Like, how did that mind control work? And if these crazy fucks can control and manipulate our minds like that, how do we control our own minds and take that control back? Now, I do quite a bit of research, but I will tell you, after researching, I end up with some puzzle pieces, and then I go to the comments here at Kim Wilson TV, and the real answers are in the comments. We know, as a collective, we know the answers, but I pick pieces, from all these comments, and it really gives me a very cohesive sort of picture. Now, in this thing with the mind control, many friends here at Kim Wilson TV have expressed a feeling of having, this mind sweeping, mind washing, mind control kind of thing on them, almost a trance-like situation. Now, I Google searched mind control because I really, aside from the fact I had my mind controlled, I don't know how that happened, and I've never seen anything like that before. Well, there's millions of websites and web pages. How to mind control someone into loving you, how to mind control a co-worker, how to mind control your boss to get a promotion. Like, what type of weirdos go to these websites? When I Google things sometimes I think, oh God, I'm not going to find anything, and poof, there it is. A plethora of absolute insanity. I mean, who knew? Who knew that there was a whole, step-by-step guide to mind control and mind controlling your girlfriend, step 101, 10 steps to mind controlling someone. It was weirder than I thought it was going to be. Now, I've always, just kind of managed my own affairs throughout life. And, of course, I raised 5 sons. So, very busy life. And controlling other people's minds never really occurred to me. But when I, looked up mind control, it's like, whoa, holy Jesus. There's an entire subculture, like, mind control 101, 10 steps to controlling people's minds. Like, holy fuck. I am never leaving my house again without, like, full tinfoil hat. Like, Jesus. Now, I can assure you that none of our narcs signed up for the, mind-washing e-course. So why? Why do they instinctively know how to do this? If I was to read every one of those manuals, I probably still would struggle to figure that out. Well, I would certainly struggle to figure out why the fuck I'd want to be controlling someone else's mind when I have my own mind that I need to control. So the narcs didn't follow those manuals. They instinctively know how to do this. Very naturally, well, naturally, unnaturally, or unnaturally natural to them. I don't know what the fuck is going on there exactly, but they most certainly know things. This early idealization and love bombing is extremely customized, and it is the only aspect of the relationship that is, because the abuse is like generic garden variety 101 abuse. And I often said to Trevor, like, if you're going to abuse me like that, dude, you might want to fucking customize that a bit, because that just looks weak. Now, why do they know how to control minds? So absolutely instinctively. They sum us up very quickly. They even almost have a sixth sense, a sense about us, a feeling about us that can lead them, aid them in their total capture of us. Now, how the fuck is that working? Now, many years ago, I worked in drug rehabilitation, and I had a client. He was sent to me because he had been arrested during a break and enter into someone's home, and the family was home. Now, the father had come around the corner, saw him in their bedroom there, beat the shit out of him, called police, and he was arrested. And I said to him, how do you feel about this? Well, I feel pretty fucking good, he says, because, I've done that same thing in thousands of homes. And I said, you've broken into thousands of homes? Yeah, I've never been arrested, he said. I said, were the people always home? Well, sometimes the people were home. And I said to him, Jesus, that's pretty fucking ballsy. I'm thinking, right, crawl into somebody's window while the family's home cooking dinner and watching a movie. But he said that, he has an instinct for it. He was a junkie. He needed drugs, and he just had an instinct for it. He instinctively knew which homes he could get in and out of, robbing the people and not getting caught, whether they were home or not. It didn't matter to him. Frightening as hell to me, thinking, I'm in my kitchen cooking dinner, and there's some fiend, in my bedroom stealing the money out of my underwear drawer. But he absolutely said he just had an instinct for it. And that always stuck with me. I always remembered that. And looking at the mind control with the narcs and BPDs, I started to remember that quite a bit and thinking it's almost like they just have this natural built-in instinct for it. They're like drug fiends looking for drugs. They need supply, and they just instinctively seem to know where that supply is going to be and how they can capture it. I guess my thoughts on this are, if Captain Beer Breath can mind wash me, why can't I? If this fiend, and trust me, this is not the spiciest taco at the Mexican buffet. This is a real garden variety turd. So if this creep can brainwash me, why can't I reprogram and brainwash myself? Now, when I was considering taking control back of my mind, one of the things I had to really consider was my present self and where I was at in this moment, because my past self was gone. My future self, well, I'm yet to invent her. So the self I have is my current self. And with the way I was feeling, it was really hard some days to muster a lot of energy, not the way I'm feeling now, but certainly the way I was feeling getting to this point. But oh God, it's terribly painful. And between, all the ringing in your ears from the gaslighting and the abuse and the name calling and the humiliation, public and private humiliation, I mean, that whole sense that you're constantly on eggshells and you can't do anything right. And that has run on for us for months, years, decades in far too many cases, sadly. But, you have to consider that the only self you have, the only place to launch your new life from is your current self. I mean, there's nothing else. Now, I've got a little confession, because seriously, I'm just making this shit up as I go along. Now, with that said, what I do is I take bits of information, and then sometimes it's something that I really got to get a lot of information. I go through comments, I'm scouring emails, and not just comments here, I mean, just trying to find information. And then I take all that information, I internalize it, and, I'm an intuitive, so I just kind of sit with that information, and then I get an instinct for it. Then I get a gut feeling. Then, it's kind of like that discard thing. Like when I first started looking into narcissistic abuse, it's quite a long time ago, but, I kept hearing all this doom and gloom shit about the final discard, and then I'm hearing all this shit about the narc can never let go. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, 1 + 1 here just simply doesn't fucking equal 2. I'm sorry, it equals something altogether different. So, I started to find like these sort of discrepancies in information. Now, if the narc can never let go, and what I've come to believe it to be is the narc just puts us like little dolls on a shelf. So if we're there on the shelf, getting dusted now and then, the odd text message, the odd kind of trying to creep you or making themselves known in social media, if they can never let go, well, the only person that could control the discard is us. I mean, sometimes it just comes down to 1 and 1 needs to equal 2. So in this case about the brainwashing, if this dumb fuck could brainwash me into believing I can't bake a fucking potato right, I mean, clearly I'm far, far smarter than him, and I can most definitely brainwash myself. Okay, so the brainwashing had a pretty negative impact on my life. I mean, fuck, I was suicidal. I just couldn't see my way clear of the mountains of ruins. I mean, it just, oh my God, it was terrible. There was nothing left. And I wanted nothing to do with it, I mean, that was the one thing that he really, really took from me, was the desire to have anything to do with him. I mean, in addition to everything else. But, I decided, and yeah, I was feeling bad. I really was. And it kind of transcended with me to my new spot. And I had to, get smudge the place and, all that kind of stuff to purify it, because like there was negative energy coming off of me. And I just decided enough's enough. Like enough is a fuck enough. I have the control over myself. If I get a feeling, I can say, okay, I acknowledge that and see you fucking later. Like I've got other things to do today. Today I'm getting on with my life. Today I'm rediscovering Kim. Today I'm revisiting old hobbies and passions and interests and art forms. And today I choose to be happy. Today I choose to be free. Today, I absolutely refuse to wallow in that misery anymore. Like I was there. I was like, ugh, drowning in it. No, I'm not into it. So, yeah, sometimes you got to remind yourself 10, 20 times a day, don't sit in this shit. Snap out of it. You control that. You control all of that. The narc doesn't control you anymore, and what happens from this point on is absolutely our responsibility, my responsibility for myself. Guys, I'm Kim. This is Kim Wilson TV. Love you guys lots. Peace be with you. And it's going to be what you make it. It's just going to be what you make it. Bless your hearts.